Hey friends, I'm Kelly and welcome to my garden. Whether you're here for the first time or returning, I'm glad you're joining me on this beautiful day. It's a pretty special day in the garden. For the first time in over a decade, I've had to buy garlic to plant. I've been using so much in my cooking and preserving that I'm nearly out. It's a bit of a surprise, but it's also an exciting opportunity to try some new varieties. I've got some great varieties lined up this year, including a softneck variety called Idaho Silver. It comes highly recommended by a friend who grows massive amounts of garlic. It's known for developing late in the season and storing for more than a year. I'm also trying several hardneck varieties from Epic Gardening. There's a link in the description with a 5% discount code if you're interested in trying some of them too. So let's go get planting. Before I get started, I need to clear out the Three Sisters garden beds where the corn and beans are finishing up for the season. I was pleased to find several ears of the Hopi blue corn that I planted. It's hard to grow a large amount of corn in a small space like this, and I hope to grow a larger amount next year. And unfortunately, I'm a little too late for my tiger eyes beans. I didn't get them harvested in time, and many of them popped out of their seed pods, and some even germinated. But we all make mistakes. The important thing is that we learn from them. Now, in this instance, I'm cutting the plants off right at the soil surface to leave the roots undisturbed. This is important because bean plants can fix nitrogen in the soil through nodules on their roots. This can then provide a natural fertilizer for subsequent crops, like our garlic. In addition, leaving most plant roots in place instead of pulling them out encourages a healthier, more sustainable soil ecosystem, supporting future plant growth and reducing the need for nutrient inputs. This practice minimizes soil disturbance, preserving the natural soil structure and the aggregates that improve water and airflow. As the roots decompose, they enrich the soil with organic matter and chemicals that they exude from their roots. This can help retain moisture and add nutrients to the soil. This decomposition also supports the activity of soil microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. These play an important role in nutrient cycling, breaking down organic material into usable forms that the plants need and improving soil fertility through that nutrient recycling. Now that the beds are cleared, it's time to prepare the soil. And I'm going to do things a little differently this year since I'm leaving the roots in the beds. I'm going to rough the soil up a bit, careful not to disturb these roots below. This is when the bean roots are enriching the soil, breaking down and releasing nitrogen that will help the garlic grow. Since I don't want to disturb the soil, instead of burying the garlic 3 or 4 inches as I usually do, I'm just going to place them on the soil surface and cover them with several inches of compost. This follows the no-dig method, which has proved successful for many. Then I'll come by later and mulch them with leaves after we collect them for mowing. There are 2 main types of garlic, softneck and hardneck. Softneck garlic, like the Idaho Silver I'm planting, typically has more cloves per bulb. It's easier to braid and stores longer. It's typically grown in warmer climates, but it does just fine in my Ohio garden. Hardneck garlic, on the other hand, has fewer but larger cloves. It's a bit hardier and offers delicious scapes in early summer, perfect for pesto, sautéing, or even fermenting. First, I need to prepare the cloves for planting. This is known as a bulb, or often called a head of garlic. We want a healthy bulb and to gently separate it into individual cloves. This process is known as cracking. It involves applying a gentle pressure at the base to loosen the cloves while keeping their papery skins intact. It's important to handle the cloves carefully to avoid damaging their protective skins before planting, as any breach can expose them to diseases and reduce their viability. I like to use my fingernail to run down each clove because it helps to keep the skin intact on the clove itself. I select the largest, healthiest looking cloves for planting, as these will have the most energy stored and are likely to produce robust plants. I discard any cloves that are bruised or appear shriveled or infected by a mold or anything, and I keep the smaller ones for cooking. By choosing the best cloves, you ensure a vigorous start for the garlic, setting a stage for a successful growing season. In this bed, I'm planting softneck garlic. First, I'll apply an organic fertilizer, and then I'll lay out each clove about 4 to 6 inches apart. This spacing allows the garlic plant enough room to grow without too much competition. So now I just need to go over and get compost to cover the beds. After they're all laid out, I cover them with a thick layer of compost. Since I've never tried this method before, I'm curious to see how it will work compared to planting them in the soil. Next, I'll lay out these hardneck varieties in the other bed. For now, I'm just going to leave these labels in each row, then I'll come back with a better method of labeling. This video will come in handy just in case I don't get to it, which is pretty much the norm. Labeling is not my strong suit. And finally, I'll cover the bed with fencing to keep out critters, especially Lucy, one of my hens that can always find a way out of the chicken yard. And I'm sure she would love to dig right through this rich compost. I'll use a mix of leaves and grass clippings we'll be collecting soon. We have a bagger attachment on the mower that shreds them up nicely, and I use them to make leaf mold and compost. These not only protect the garlic over the winter, but also break down over time, adding further nutrients to the soil. I've been doing this in my garden beds for years, whether or not anything is planted. It helps keep the soil covered over the winter and is a wonderful mulch throughout the season. I'll be posting a video on that process very soon. And that's it, our garlic is planted. All we have to do now is wait. I'll be coming back in the next week or so, adding a layer of mulch. And over the coming months, these beds will need very little maintenance, just making sure that the mulch is in place and that there's enough moisture. Thanks for joining me today, and don't forget to check in the description box below for that 5% discount on Epic Gardening. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing, especially if you want to follow along and see how everything goes. And drop me a comment down below. Let me know how your garlic experiences have gone, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.